people get one or two rejections. Okay, I give up.
Were you already doing shots of tequila while you were going in advance?
No. Patron wasn't invented yet. No.
That's what I mean. Like,
but anyways.
Daily Logic Check.
Welcome to Daily Logic Check. I'm your host, Elizabeth Lynn Vargas, with my co-host, Andrew Vargas. And today we have a very, very special guest, all the way from Austin, Texas, just for this interview. The founder of Patron and Paul Mitchell Hair Products, John Paul DeJoria. Thank you for being here.
Oh, this is my pleasure. It really, really is.
You came all the way from Austin just to say hi to Andrew and I on our little old podcast in Newport Beach. Why?
Well, it's a little more than that, because your little podcast isn't just a little podcast, okay? It addresses things that appeal to the masses. Nobody is on television or a podcast that I know of that reviews daily things, daily events, and looking at it from a person's point of view, not the person that's giving you the information. And there's no place that does that. So it's really my pleasure. I think we need more of this. I think the American public likes to drop in on something where people are talking about normal things from a normal point of view, not just what someone's trying to shove down their throat. And I think that is fabulous. The world needs more of that. I'm here to represent you.
Andrew, you're fabulous.
Thank you.
That's Andrew and I decided to bring forth, I have 97% women on my followers on Instagram. And I said, I told my brother, let's do a lifestyle podcast with so many brilliant minds that I know. Bring them on, have a smart cast, a smart podcast that people that come on can educate my viewers on things that maybe they know or maybe they didn't know. And, I have such an array of great people. We had Emily from The Housewives. We have some bangers, but now we have obviously one of the most successful entrepreneurs that came from nothing and is creating something. And I just can't thank you enough for being here today.
Well, I also like the fact that, at least for part of your conversation, I could give a point of view from a person that came from homelessness to having quite a bit the American dream, because I've been at both ends. So it's really nice to be able to look at America different ways. And by the way, America still works. And I'm sure during your interview, people will realize America still works. Forget what the politicians are telling you. They're just doing it to get reelected. America still works.
Well, we are perfect. We came from nothing. We were homeless too.
Oh, all three of us.
Absolutely.
So I know America works. I'm sitting in this chair today with you here because it works.
I love it. Yes,
as bad as you look online and as bad as everything looks on TV, what I do is I look outside. And it still looks like everything's functioning perfectly fine, and everybody's
get off social media
getting
for a
along.
second.
Everybody gets along just fine in the world.
Mother Earth still works, okay? We got to leave
the plants are still growing green.
Got to leave the politicians aside that promise you everything, and sometimes they do. Sometimes they deliver nothing. But it's a good thing to be able to at least see everyone's view, which is nice, and realize that America does work, and we the people are still we the people of the United States of America. And I don't want anyone to forget that. Whatever the politicians do, whatever they may want to cram down your throat or do that you don't want to do, no. America's the land of the free and the home of the brave. Do what you want to. It's freedom, not what they say you must do to get control of you. That's
and you could cuss on the show. It's freedom of speech. Just so you know. One thing that I've noticed is, we just came out of that crazy time with COVID.
Oh, crazy.
And I'm an entrepreneur, and I really struggle with the ups and the downs and the hits and the non-hits and then the bonuses, and then, you feel like you won for like a week and then you're hit down again. One thing I've noticed is a lot of restaurants went out of business in California because, obviously I live here and all over the country, and a lot of people lost a lot of their lives that they spent their entire lives building. And right now their excuse is, well, the man's not letting me get back up. The man's, I'm going to wait for another check or I'm done, I'm over it. You went through the same thing in your startup era of your life, and you didn't have the COVID thing, but you still had a lot of trials and tribulations.
That's correct.
But you got back up. So your advice what would you tell somebody that's just down on their luck, they tried and they're just giving up right now?
Gotcha. This is a very good question. In fact, not realize what you were going to ask me, that'd be a question I would design. So that's perfect. Thank you.
Good.
We try.
You are my investor in Vargas Vodka.
People have to know, are things that bad? No. Did inflation take off with whatever measures the government presently put in? Yeah, okay, and that hurts everybody. But let me give you a different situation. When I started Paul Mitchell in 1980, I had a backer. The backer pulled out. I stopped doing everything I was doing, went down the hill to get the money, left my relationship, left everything with $200 in my pocket, plenty of money for my wife and my daughter to exist for a long time, even though the wife and I weren't getting along very well, but plenty of money for them. Went down the hill with a couple $100 in my pocket. The backer pulled out. This is very important.
That's crazy.
At the last, I'm down there, nothing. A friend of mine found me and said, JP, you got to call Dick Holthouse. Here's his phone number. Call him collect. And he said, JP, the last minute, I know you're expecting money to come in today. You're changing your life right now. Let me tell you why he changed his mind. Inflation in the United States was worse than under this administration. It was 12.5%.
Wow.
12.5% inflation. Can you imagine that?
That's crazy.
Interest rates.
I can't imagine that.
Oh, well, let me give you another one. Interest rates. This is 80 and 81. If you could get a loan in 1980 or 81, if you could get a loan, prime rate means the lowest rate interest you could get was 17%. If you could, if you can get a loan, okay? That's not all. Unemployment in the United States was 10.5%, and we waited in line for gasoline because of what was going on in Iran. In other words, people said, this is the time to go to work for somebody else. Go back to your job, JP,
Right.
don't do it. But we believed what we have was really great. So I lived in my car for a few weeks. We started the company with $700. It took us 2 years, and I'll answer this question before you even ask it. It took us 2 years to know we're going to make it. Week to week, it was hand to mouth, week to week. How do we know we made it? After 2 full years in business, we were able to pay our bills on time. Not pay them off, but pay them on
That's a
time.
good
And
feeling.
we had $2,000 each. It was like, wow, we are making it.
Yeah.
Well, needless to say, no matter what other people told us, give up your job, go to work for someone, you got plenty of people who want to hire you, no matter what they say, I believed in what I had.
Yeah.
So for young entrepreneurs, I have the greatest message I want to give to entrepreneurs, and even people like me as entrepreneurs starting later in life, okay, is this. 2 things that are the most important things you'll ever know. Number 1, be prepared for a lot of rejection. Because usually people
accept
get
rejection.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Usually people get 1 or 2 rejections. Okay, I give up. They say it's not going to work. They said it's not going to work. Forget it, right? I learned this selling encyclopedias in my early 20s, door to door.
That's so awesome.
All right, no
I would have
appointment.
loved for you to shove at my door.
No appointments, no leads. It was cold calling with a briefcase in your hand, right? But they told me something during training. They said, only a few of you are going to make it. The average lifespan of an encyclopedia salesman with Collier's Encyclopedia, door to door, even during your 4-day training, you're not paid at all, right? Okay, is 3.5 days. They said, but those that make it will do really, really good. And here's how you're going to make it. If you knock on 50 doors, cold calling, and they close everyone in your face, whether they're nice about it, and most people are pretty nice, right? Or angry about it.
They used to be.
On door number 51, you must be just as enthusiastic as you were on door number 1 as number 50. Well, for me, it wasn't number 50. I believed what they said. It was like 120 or something like
Were
that.
you
It was
already
over-
doing shots
it
of
was-
tequila while you were going
no,
in advance?
no. Patron wasn't invented yet. No.
That's what I mean, like,
But
what-
anyway, yeah, so in other words, for me, it took a while. But once I got the first sale, it was over 100 doors before they let me in, okay?
Wow.
Once I got the first sale, I got motivated. And I lasted in there for almost 4 years, door-to-door direct sales.
How old were you?
I was in my early 20s at that time. Became a field manager where 3 or 4 guys got in my car with me, and I would drop them off, get a low percentage of what they made. But these were very difficult times. I mean, the United States went through an unbelievable recession.
17.5%. That is insane.
oh, yeah,
Like, that's hard money lending right now.
I mean,
That's
it's
like,
yeah, but right now, and I got to hand it to normal families, it's very tough. It's not just now inflation dropped down to 3%. In the last 3 years, it went up to, at one time, multi-digits. I mean, or let's say it went up to 8, 9%.
Yeah.
But if you put it all together, if you put the last 3 years together, families are paying double digit what they paid before for groceries and everything else.
It's
I mean,
crazy.
yeah, so the bragging is now, well, it's only down to 3.5%. Yeah, the last 3 years, you got to put it all together. So what we
Wow.
did was we were in an area where it happened all in 1 year, and then the second year was the same thing. You add them both up together, you're probably around 20% or something like that inflation. But you add all these together, it's pretty bad too. But
Oh,
America
yeah.
still works, guys. America still works. People have to know that. So when you start with nothing and you sleep in your car, so number 1 was
that dollar really matters.
Number 1 was be prepared for a lot of rejection. The second thing, and this is very important, if you have a service to sell or you have a product to sell, okay, do not go into the selling business. Go into the reorder business
Yes.
where your product is so good. If you have no money for advertising or promotion, they say, this is really good. They're going to want to reorder.
Like Paul Mitchell, what you do with Paul
Exactly.
Mitchell.
Paul Mitchell, we had no money, no nothing. So I went door to door, beauty salon to beauty salon, knowing that hairdressers know the quality of a product. And the 2 shampoos and a conditioner and sculpting lotion we kind of started with down the way there really worked well. So we knew a hairdresser knows about hair. We're only going to be in the hairdressing industry that somehow benefits the hairdresser, even in the future of distribution
You just sold to hairdressers, right?
Yeah,
at the time?
exactly. Only hairdressers. Even today, wherever it is sold, and if we're responsible for that sale, it all goes back. Some of it goes right back to hairdressers. Like Amazon goes right back to hairdressers.
That's
we give a
great.
piece of it back to our salons to carry Paul Mitchell.
Cool.
We will always stay in the industry that supports hairdressers. So what happened was, with all this going on, we made our product so good that once you used it, you'd want to use it again.
Right.
In other words, make your product not just to sell, but of such a quality. Now, what if you don't have a physical product? It's a service. Make your product, your service so well, even if it's a one-time service,
200%.
that they'll tell their friends about it.
Yep.
They'll tell their friends about it.
Those salon hairstylists were using it on their clients, and their clients must have loved it, right?
Yeah,
So then
and they
just,
loved it. The important thing was the hairdresser loved it.
Yeah.
Hairdresser's the place to go for a recommendation. They love it.
Yeah. When that's kind of how when my friend and I started our business, we were just better than everybody else. So therefore, when they needed to recommend somebody, they're always going to recommend us.
You got it, Andrew. Quality.
Yeah, quality, and really be good at your job, take pride in your work, and it's getting really hard to find that these days.
Oh, yeah.
well, you work 17-hour days.
Yes.
I mean, you didn't just like show up and, oh, it's just wonderful.
Yeah, it's
like,
starting
you
a
gotta be
business is a
willing
lot
to
of
kill
work,
yourself.
and hopefully someday, like now for me, it's a lot less time, so I can spend time with my daughters, time with my niece, and so.
Yeah.
But yeah, first
Balancing
off,
that life.
first 10 years is work, work, work.
Oh,
Yeah.
Andrew, I did the same thing. My first several years with Paul Mitchell, I was on the road so much. It was only me for the first year. And then a year and a half later, I had one other person in the field. And of course, my partner, Paul, was an unbelievable hairstylist. He was one of the best in the world. We did what we could, just a couple of people, but it was that way. So I'd say easily for the first decade, I would travel so much. I spend very little time at home around the kids, very little, you know, and it's something sometimes you have to give up. But I would tell them what I'm doing, how it's going to benefit us in the future. And of course,
You created a legacy. I mean, you really, like, even today, I go to my stylist, and I know, you know, we have a vodka company together. We're partners in a business, so I know I get these phone calls. And I remember one time I'm getting my hair done, and it calls, and I have John Paul Mitchell on there. And my stylist goes, answer it, please. I just want to hear his voice. I went to his school. And I was like, you did? She's like, yeah.
Oh,
I
our
mean,
schools.
Yeah, she
Oh
went to one
my
of your
gosh.
schools.
There's something, I want to share this with your audience too about schools. We have over 100 Paul Mitchell schools nationwide, cosmetology schools, but we do something in schools the world should do. They take time in schools to raise money, whether it's a cut-a-thon, a car wash,
Oh, I didn't know
for
that.
people. It's part of our giving program. We teach them how to give back, and they feel so good. Some of it goes to, like, you know, children. In fact, it's all over the world. Part of the money goes locally to charities, part nationally, and part internationally. So, and they get in return the feeling of giving and doing something for somebody else. We teach them in school how it's not just us. You got to care about somebody
It's an
else and give.
ecosystem of giving back.
Oh, yeah, and
getting
they
something
do.
in
And we've already
return,
raised,
you
I
know,
think,
the love of the
$25
love.
million in the last 25 years or something
Have
like that.
pride in your pride in your job, pride in your work.
Right, but none of the money to raise it comes from the money raised. My partner Wynn and I, in our school division, put all the money in. We underwrite the whole thing. So every dime raised goes straight to a local charity, a statewide charity, or a national
wow.
charity, or worldwide charity. They learn how to give. And what do they get out of it? They have the gift and the love of giving.
Yeah, it feels so good to help.
Oh, honey, when you give to somebody else asking nothing in return, and some of these Keats and Molly you'll never meet, some of the people other ways you'll never meet them, you know, but the fact they know they did it without asking anything in return, not even a thank you, other than from us, they feel wonderful. It's a great high.
No, I
More people should do that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're notorious for all your businesses giving back. I mean, you have Peace, Love, and Happiness Foundation also.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And is that your private foundation?
Yeah,
or is that...
JP's Peace, Love, and Happiness Family Foundation is only for my family.
Right.
All my
Okay,
businesses give back.
Okay.
We don't take money from anybody. That's just our own money giving out. And we give out, well, it's in the millions.
Yeah.
You know, we give out a lot of money, okay? But we don't give it out. We help our country become better.
Right.
I figured that.
Teach people. What do you always say? Teach them how to farm and they'll feed themselves, or
Yeah, or you heard the old one is teach them how to fish and they'll teach themselves instead of giving them the fish. Teach them how to farm. And we did that. Grow Appalachia. We taught Thousands of people had to do their own farming so they could feed themselves, and then the next year grow a little more and sell it in grocery stores for organically owned produce or at farmers market.
But
Teach
you also
people
did
for themselves.
what was that show where the guy had the tea tree?
Oh, Johnny George's
Yeah,
Tree
on Shark
TV.
Tank.
That was the one
TV.
time. That was the one time, by the way, I was on Shark Tank. A beautiful show, Shark Tank. But do you know it's been shown over 300 replays? I did
I
it
know.
7 years ago. It's been replayed over at least
Really?
200 times.
Because we
It's still
love the tea
replayed.
tree guy or
But
whatever.
yeah, it's Johnny George. He invented this little thing, a tree teepee, that you
Teepee.
put around plants and trees. They grow faster. You need less
Captures the
water.
water.
It captures the water, the humidity at night. Less water that you use it all on it, like probably 1/10 the water that you have to use.
Yeah.
And,
I
and
didn't
less
see that.
fertilizer, less everything, and the tree grows quicker and better. It was a pleasure, and he's still in business.
But everybody wanted, all the investors, all the tankers, what do they call them, the sharks?
Yeah, they wanted to talk
wanted,
about.
well, why are you selling it at this margin? We can do this margin. And he's like, well, because we're farmers. I mean, that was the most
And some could afford it. You're right.
emotional moment for me to watch. That was, he's like, well, because we're farmers. I sell to farmers. They can't afford. And they're like, we don't care. We don't want this margin. And you're like, you know what?
Yeah, you're right.
I'm putting the money in because I believe in America. America works. Believe in the farmer. And I was like, I need JP as my partner. So in today's environment with, again, post-COVID, a lot of, and now we have an election year coming up.
Oh, boy.
What is your take on, now you just started you've already had this tequila before.
Sure.
Bandero tequila is your new tequila,
Yes.
but you already had it pre-COVID, right? Or did you?
Yeah, no, yeah, that's a lot of people ask me the same thing, okay? I sold Patron, okay, my interest in Patron to Bacardi 5 years and 6 months ago,
For
okay?
a very nice
Yeah, for a very
sum.
nice sum of
Very
money,
nice sum.
exactly.
Just Google
but
it.
when I sold Patron, I had another tequila company I was starting that was a real smooth tequila that was organic, no additives, right? In fact, I have a bottle here since you mentioned, okay? Bandero, okay? So what I did was I started Bandero, and they were very kind to Bacardi, so kind to me. They said, JP, we'll let you keep, because you're starting it, right? But you can't put any money into it, and you can't promote it. So I said, could I give it to my adult daughters to run for me? And plus my partner, Jonathan, who helped start the whole darn thing, right?
Yeah.
They said, yes, but you cannot be involved in any way, shape, or form.
No marketing.
Yeah, but no,
conflict of
nothing
interest.
for 5 years. And they deserve that. They're wonderful people. I said, sure, gladly. So what I did on it was I did zero. But the non-compete was up in April, so now I could get involved and do different things. So now we're in 6 states right now, and we're launching the United States. But it is extremely
No, I've had
smooth.
it. It is really good.
Extremely smooth.
So I know you're JP and I know you're Patron, but I'm telling you right now, if I would have thought you were going to do another tequila company, that actually you might want to tip that up a little bit.
Oh, sorry. Oh, there we go.
You're going to do it. I'm
Sorry.
not tipsy yet, but
Okay.
if I would have known you were going to do a second tequila company that was that darn good, like my girlfriends have tried it, and it's actually, I mean, I hate to say this, but it's better than your last company.
Well, no, let me put it a little different, okay?
I mean, not better, but it tastes
Patron,
smooth.
and this has nothing to do with the Patron product. It's totally
Right.
different, right? Patron is a great company.
It is
a
a great
tequila.
product.
And most people that appreciates really good tequilas, okay,
Yeah.
usually have at least two. So
Yeah,
if people say, if
okay.
we have at least two, we'll have Patron. I love Patron.
Yeah.
I'm the
Everyone
creator.
loves Patron,
I'm
but
the
this is just
creator.
different.
Okay, yeah, this is different than
yeah, it's
Patron,
different.
right?
You're right.
Have them both there, you know,
Yeah, you're
why
right.
not?
That's
But
just
definitely
different.
try Bandero and
Yeah.
see what you think. Try it at room temperature and try it chilled, and you will be amazed at the results. And it is organic.
Daily Logic Check.
So with the election year coming up and wanting to start a business, and I know you said you've already had it started, but
Yep.
you're really going to go big with it this year, which
That
is
we're doing
great.
was just started, right?
And you get some of these deals closed, and I'm just super excited for you guys. But you think that if you're going to start a business today, would you wait till after the elections, or would you just start at any? Is there any time in someone's life where you'd say don't start your business or your dream because of an election year? Because everyone's saying don't do anything until after the elections. Don't buy real estate. Don't do businesses.
This is, you're asking me, not one person I've interviewed with, and they've been on every major channel there is, right, has ever asked me that question, okay? When's the right time to start? Is it right now or not? And my answer is this, right now. I started Paul Mitchell under the worst situation our country's ever been in.
Right.
It was an election year. Reagan was just elected at that time over Jimmy Carter, I believe, who was running for re-election at that time. I mean, and everything was wrong. unemployment, interest rates.
tanking. You're like, let's start a
everyone
business.
said you don't want to start a. It's the worst time in our history. No, don't. Other than the Great Depression of the 20s, you'll never want to start a business.
Yeah.
And throughout that time, people were saying, "JP, go to work for us. It's not going to happen." And we struggled. It was day to day, hand to mouth. There were times I'll never forget where for the whole day to eat, I had just a few dollars.
Didn't you have a child too?
A child, yeah. I had dear friends of mine and my mom that helped me take care of my son, John
Was it
Jr.
the Harley people that took care of
Yeah, but no, there were some wonderful. Well, that was my younger son. That was the first time I was homeless.
first son,
Oh, the
okay.
first time I was homeless there. Yeah, that was in my early 20s. Yeah, that was some great biker friends of mine that helped me at that time.
But I mean, it's interesting because, a lot of people, I think, that really want to do something in their life, they have an excuse that, well, the environment is the excuse.
No
why I
excuse.
can't. And I agree. Like, Andrew and I, we've really lived. And as much as we've lived, I've always wanted my own company that's simple. Like my Vargas vodka is something, it's my passion. I love it. I love the business side of it. I love that it's one product, it's simplified, I can sell it, and I can give back because $1 of every bottle goes to my animal charity, right? So I'm like, okay, this is great, but I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do it. I was scared. I was getting divorced. I had, I just needed one person to believe in me, and that was you. And I, to this day, can't believe you believed in me that I could do this and that I was able and capable, coming from where I came from, being homeless, not having been college educated because I didn't have the money to go to school, trying to help support my family, all these problems hitting me in the head.
Sure.
You still said, you know what? I believe in you.
Well, I looked at someone that was similar to me coming along that could use a helping hand. I just looked at it that way.
Yeah.
That's it. We want to help one another out. Success unshared is failure.
But I also think that if one, my advice also would be like, if you have that one person, even if it's your teacher or somebody in school or anybody that's a little tiny bit of a mentor, latch onto them. Because I didn't have anybody really, like shooting in the dark, trying to figure out who do I listen to. Like for years, had nobody, I didn't have a father figure. I didn't really have my mother was great, but she had kids.
Oh.
How does she? Start a business.
Yeah, no,
Sure, Mom.
She works 16
6
hours a day.
She couldn't afford
She had 5 kids.
5 kids, and I think that, by watching these podcasts, watching these stories, like you being on our lifestyle podcast and really being able to share your experience with these young people can encourage them to get off the couch and just do it. Like you may fail. You will fail.
Do it now. Oh, you will.
Fail quickly, right?
Do it now. Yeah, do it now and be positive. Because if you're positive, what you do, we all have problems, right? My God, in high school, my business teacher told me and Michelle Gilliam, who became Michelle Phillips, the actress in Mamas and Papas, we would never succeed at anything, okay?
Yeah.
And we didn't let that get us down. Because remember this, no matter what anybody has told you so far, or what your experiences in life, you cannot change yesterday's newspapers.
No.
In other words, that's the past. Get off your shoulders.
Yeah.
So what happens is, as we start things out, we have all these problems. It's because you got your mind off your goal. If your goal was to succeed in your business, these problems come along. It's like a rock in the river. The river goes around it.
Yeah.
Obstacles are things we see when we take our mind off our goals.
Daily Logic Check.
Well, okay, so I joined that Orange County Housewives show, right? Because I'm like, well,
You're very positive.
If I'm gonna, launch a vodka, everybody's getting wasted watching a reality show on COVID. It was perfect. So my environment, even though it was the worst environment to be in, I was going through a serious divorce.
Yep.
I was down and out. My technology company shut down. I was crying so hard because my lawyer fees were skyrocketed. I moved into a 350 square foot apartment at the Wedge.
Right.
Rented out my beach house for $39,000 to $4,000 a day to pay my lawyers. Still had no money. Lived with my dog on a housewife show in a with a sheet behind me, pretending I was in my mansion on the beach. And I was like, this is the worst environment. And then, bam! I'm in that apartment and COVID hits.
Yep.
So I'm literally like my worst nightmare. And I just remember you saying. You just kept saying, there's never a good time. There's never a good time to quit.
That's right.
You can quit your entire life, but there's never. I think you said there's never a good time to quit.
Correct.
You should never just quit. Because I was like, man, this is just going to be. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Yeah. And your encouraging words and just being able to. I watched interview after interview, and I tried to search for positive, uplifting people, and your name just kept popping up. And I think that's one thing that with your success. You do is you're willing to get on television. You're willing to really share because you have time now. You sold Patron, you're starting Bandera, but you got a great team now. You know what you're doing. You know, this is a great environment to start Bandera. But you're also willing to give back your knowledge. And I think that, you know, for me, once, you know, I always thought, well, money makes me successful. But really what I've learned from you is that the journey is successful. If I can conquer those failures and those transitions, I'm successful. Like, if I can live there coming from jets and helicopters and this really wealthy lifestyle to look nothing then get back up with nothing. I mean, I didn't divorce with anything. So it's like, you know, I got stock options. Awesome. I can't spend those on just to do anything. It's not paying my rent.
Hey, you're going along with what really works. It's good for your audience to know this.
Yeah.
Successful people in anything you do, whether it's your personal life or in business or in education, successful people do all the things unsuccessful people don't want to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then this little slogan too that I love, I think John Lennon came up with it in one of his songs. My friend Jonathan told me about it. I love the slogan. In the end, everything will be okay. And if it's not okay, it's not the end. You have those two slogans with you at all times. They'll motivate you to go out and do a little bit more, work a little bit longer, a little bit later. There's so many stories on how that works.
No,
So that's what you did. Good for you. Well, I've seen it.
I'm
I've seen
still
it happen.
trying. I mean, you
No, but
know.
you're doing really well, Elizabeth, and very, very proud of you.
Thank you so much for that. And I'm also proud, you know, of the people that I've surrounded myself with are also really important to your success. And
That's correct.
I do have to agree that if you don't surround, I mean, what is your take on surrounding yourself in the right environment versus not?
Well, you've got to. If you're around negative people that complain, that tell you how things aren't going to work out, they're constantly complaining or gossiping about somebody else, get away from them. Okay, that spoken word is very, very important. Try and only surround yourselves with just nice, kind people. And when you have friends that just blab and gossip about everybody, telling about how bad everything is right now.
Talk about people.
Okay, they can't help it. A lot of the press, unfortunately, is controlled, okay? So it's like, you know, a good piece of it, all right? So a lot of it isn't really true, but it affects them. So they have to just remember, in the end, everything's going to be okay. If it's not the end. And what do? You don't pay attention to negative people. You stay away from them. And you go with people. And even if it's your two best friends, just say, hey, I'm on a positive vibe now. I appreciate all the gossiping. It's interesting. But please, let's only talk about positive things now because I'm going to make this world more positive because of my service.
You might lose some friends in the process.
It's okay.
But it's okay.
You get a boot. You get the boot.
But you're going to raise up. No, your frequency is going to raise. The frequency of this planet is racing right now.
You'll find
your
people
frequency will raise.
If you look for the right, if you don't let the toxic people take over your life and you can move forward, you'll find people that aren't toxic that are good for your
That's
your life.
correct. And people that aren't toxic want to be around others that are non-toxic. When they're around people that are just gossipers and talk about bad things or negative things all the time, they sooner or later just don't want to be around them.
Yeah.
You want to be around the people that want to be around you, that you could just have a positive, even if you said very few words, but you were positive, you were happy. That's what the world needs more of. Not
Holding
this
each other,
negative.
holding each other up, not breaking each other down.
You got it.
and
That's
accountable.
perfect. Andrew, that's beautiful.
Andrew holds me up all the time. I'm
Good
like, oh my
co-host,
God,
good
I can't
co-host,
do it.
good
Andrew's like,
co-host.
it's
No,
okay.
what he's saying is correct. What he's saying is correct.
You know, and it's interesting because a lot of people are on, you know, this whole social media thing that we've got. You know, you got TikTok, Instagram, and you get a feed. So everybody gets their own feed on these social media platforms, and a lot of them are really America's feed is different than China's feed. China's feed is different than Japan's feed. We all have the same platform, but all of our feeds are different. And I really feel like right now we've got a lot of conspiracy theories and negativity and aliens and so much weird crap that really gets in people's mind.
True.
And they start.
Sasquatch.
It's like an agenda. What do you call it? You know,
Conspiracy.
the conspiracy theories, and it really makes people negative. Like they start believing all of them.
And you want to know the real bummer of this thing? I can just give you one example, okay? It was like, 4 years ago when Trump, or more than that, when he was running for president, right? They talked about, the Russians are involved, it's conspiracy, and at least 3 TV stations said that, right? But when it turned out that was a lie, they found it wasn't a lie. I think it was Hillary or someone hired someone to do that. I mean, it was some crazy thing. They never covered it. They only covered the bad part. Okay, and by the way, so your viewers know, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican.
Right,
I am a
independent.
pure
Same with me.
independent, period.
Yeah.
There was an
You always
independent,
have
you got
been.
it.
That's why I love you.
Happy.
So it's not any party, it's just that some messages they deliver aren't the right messages. You got to take your own message. No, America does
Propaganda
work.
push.
Yeah, don't let them, don't eat their story. I mean, my God.
Yeah.
And then it comes out later, you must wear a mask, it stops COVID. Well, we found out later that was a lie. It doesn't. They lied to us,
Well, you could fart through a mask
yeah,
and
but
smell it.
they
so
won't-
you
But
could
don't let it
probably,
get you down.
you know.
They don't
No,
look
they
at-
don't show you the good. They show you the
There's no
bad, but not the
accountability.
good. No, they don't. They don't show you the good. Here's this conspiracy you find out later, but they hate the guy they talked about so much they don't want to tell you, well, we actually didn't tell you the truth. It was someone
Yeah.
else.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
so that's why I say don't let these things get you down. America
Yeah.
still works. There's great Republicans, great Democrats, great independents,
leaders, great
everything.
thinkers.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
some of them in power are influenced by other people.
Money.
Don't let that money. Oh
Pharmaceutical
God,
cut-
yes.
yeah, yeah.
Because remember, you know, let's say their re-elections are sponsored
They're
by a lot
expensive.
of big
And
people.
elections
right?
are expensive.
So they
Elections are
support them,
expensive.
and they,
Unless you're John Paul, you
oh
should
no,
just
and they
run for
give a
president.
narrative off to support them. But you know, again, there's a lot of good people here,
Yeah.
and those people that are bad. Even though I heard all this stuff about the FBI telling this bad, false information, they wouldn't bust Hunter Biden, they wouldn't do this. Everybody, right, because of the influence of the politics that were happening at that time. Yeah, but that's not the real FBI. I lecture to the FBI. I train them in management motivation, as well as I did it with the CIA.
Are you kidding?
No, not at all. In fact, it's no secret. It made the newspapers, right?
Oh,
But
great.
I've trained them on more than one occasion, right? But on
So do they
management
follow you?
motivation, how to be a more loving, daring manager.
Yeah.
So the majority of the people with the FBI or even the CIA are wonderful people.
Yeah.
It's just a few bad actors in there that were in positions of control that created some of this stuff.
Yeah.
So when you heard this stuff, what they were involved in, you know, but that's just a couple of them. It's not the whole FBI or the CIA. There's wonderful. There's only a few of them at the top that were doing this. We've got a great nation. They're good people. And even these people that are around bad actors basically are pretty good people.
But don't they put out fake propaganda for agendas
Yes, they do.
But we don't
to
know
deflect
who's that.
from like what's really happening? I mean,
That
a
is a
little
very
bit
good
too.
conspiracy. We don't know. Obviously, without
it's
proof.
not a conspiracy. Because
Well, it is super obvious that it's not a conspiracy, but it is because there's no hard proof. Because
Exactly.
you don't see, oh, look, that guy took that thing and put it there.
Well, okay, so why are they all of a sudden releasing aliens right now when there's an election year?
'cause
C-
that's
Come on.
they're
Like,
trying to
what,
distract
they have
us.
nothing else to pick. Like, let's pick
Let
aliens.
him be real, damn it.
I just want to meet
you're
one
right.
alien in my life.
I think you may have already without even knowing it. You know?
Yeah, are you an alien,
hoping so.
JP?
But what I will tell you this, though, no, 2024, you're going to see the alien thing really open up. Okay,
Really?
you'll see
I
more
can't wait.
Do you
landings,
think
more
there's
people.
really? I mean, we
That's-
can't be the only people on the planet, right?
I hope not.
Wait.
Yes.
Are you going to start turning
No,
green?
I personally believe. No, I personally believe it's beyond any question of doubt real. Beyond, I mean,
Really?
yeah, they're now finding civilizations that are 12,000 years old.
Did they find
cities.
a spaceship back in the, what is that called? The Area 51?
Area
You
51?
think that was real?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh,
For
definitely.
real?
Oh yeah.
Wait, have you seen a spaceship? I mean, you are in the
Well,
upper
let me-
echelon.
you asked me that question, okay? And it freaks people out, but it's okay. What happened? The guy who was in charge of, let's say, intelligence at that time in Roswell, the guy, Colonel, starts with an M, his last name, came out and said, no, until the day he died, he wrote a book all about it, all about Roswell. And he said, no, I was there. I saw them. I saw the people that they hauled away. I saw the material. Okay, we broadcasted it that it was an alien landing, and then they changed the narrative a day later to say, oh, no, it was a weather balloon.
Weather balloon, yep.
Oh, yeah, but if you watch, I mean, a lot of things, if you go on and you see this, it blows you. I'll give you an example. If you type into your computers, okay, Secretary of Defense for the UK, or Secretary of Defense
doing
for
this.
Canada, right? And after you type in Secretary of Defense, just type in UFO, and you will see their ex-Secretary of Defense is saying, yeah, it is real,
No,
and here's
all of
why
them
we know
say
it's supposed to be
it's
real.
real.
But they
They
don't
all-
know this is real. They all say it's real, it should be exposed. These are Secretaries of Defense.
All I want before I die is
Is
to
to
be able to
meet
shake a
an
hand of an alien. That would be amazing.
No, me too. Ghosts. I mean, come on, just let me meet one. I mean, all these ghost movies. How is it we have ghost movies and no one's ever physically videoed
They're on
one?
season 7
Yeah,
of Ghost
you know,
Hunters.
some else people say, well, if they're here, they're going to kill us. They've been around for thousands of years. And it's already coming up. What were the pyramids? Were they burial chambers? No, the Great Pyramid was not. It was a battery, electrical charge thing that was from one to
Yeah,
the other.
Egyptians didn't
It was
they-
energy. Oh, no. And they're coming up with more flying saucer pictures and things from aliens that date it way back. And now when they uncover cities like the one in Turkey, that's
Yes, I just heard about
12,000
that.
years old.
Yeah, I
and
was just
another
watching
one
that.
they've
Yeah.
uncovered that's 20,000 years old. I mean, forget the history that they told us. It's got to be rewritten a little bit.
It has to be. In the Amazon,
yeah.
didn't
No, they were
they
here.
do that laser where they could see in the Amazon jungle?
Yeah,
that
the lidar of the
massive
jungle.
city in the jungle.
Not
But they've
only
only
there,
done 5% of it, and they're trying to do the rest.
I've been in Guatemala in the Mirador Basin. I was in there with my son twice, uncovering pyramids that were totally buried for over 1,000 years. And we thought at first there were 5 or 6 pyramids there. And then we thought, no, there's actually 21. One of them, Mirador, is bigger than the Great Pyramid of Egypt in size, not in height, but in size, right? Greater. With the new radar that came out now, that you could look through the ground,
Yeah,
the new
that's what
stuff,
we were talking
they
about.
found over 900 of them there now in the Mirador Basin, about the size of LA County. And there was a lot of stuff was here they didn't want to talk about, and now it's hard to change the books. You know, it's like, well, who discovered North
So you're
America?
saying that the boat guy didn't just come over and discover America?
It was already here.
It was already here.
Well, you know, the Navajo, my God, the Hopi Indians had pictures on the walls of it. No,
Yeah.
they were already-
So they say the Egyptians are like, oh, the Egyptians built the pyramids. I'm like, they couldn't have built the pyramids.
Yeah, oh, no, but
There's no way.
well, the little ones they probably did, okay.
Well,
but
they
the
probably
other
tried to
ones,
mimic them.
no, there's no other way. But and I've also been to Cusco and seen the 20,000-ton blocks there that no human beings
That's
or
what I said,
even
there's-
machine can't work. But the thing is, this is very interesting to know. And people would ask us, well, why? I'm glad you want to know aliens because I normally don't talk about it, okay. But they ask, well, are they bad? Are they bad?
Right.
They could have wiped us out 1,000 years ago.
Yes.
But why don't they show themselves so much right now? My feeling is because we're so primitive, we're
idiots.
still killing one another.
They're laughing
we're
at
an
us.
advanced human race and we're killing one another.
With
we're on a
nukes.
plate where governments try and separate people. And I can tell you an interesting story I want to tell you, okay? During COVID, I was asked by one of the major stations to go on and represent the 1% because I was wealthy and had big business, right? I went on this show, and I won't mention the show with all due respect to him, right? They said, well, JP, you're representing the 1% during COVID, and what do you think of this? Should they be paying? Should this thing on Wall Street really happen where the 1% should give a lot more? I said, well, first of all, let's straighten everything out. I'm not the 1%. I am the 100%. It is we, the people of the United States of America.
And the aliens.
I was poor. I was homeless, okay? I was all that, right? And I got a chance to make it. So I could talk about the American people, not the 1%. We're all we, the people of the United States of America. And there's, at that time with the Giving Pledge, I think there was 110 of us on board, and we're billionaires, and we've all pledged to give away a certain percentage of our wealth after we die or while we're still alive or a little of the two.
Right.
So it's we the people giving. And boy, the narrative changed immediately.
So you think the aliens are like, okay, so do you think that they pick certain people to be billionaires, or is it
You know,
like,
that's
do
a
you
good
think
question.
if I prayed to my alien gods, like
I do know. I do know that several years back, they did something in the United States, and I believe it was in Russia also, for sure the United States, where over one of our main intercontinental ballistic households there, let's call it, right, in Montana, that has all these ballistic missiles, right? A flying saucer came over it, and it was just hovering there. Yeah, it was covering there, right? And it happened at somewhere else too. And all of a sudden, every single missile silo we had went dead. Went dead.
Oh, yes,
it was
I saw
remember,
that.
it was dead, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, when it took off and went away, it all went back online again. So if they are here, and I definitely feel they're here, I don't think they're going to let a nuclear holocaust take.
you think
happen.
Elon Musk is an alien? Because did he go to Mars?
He's I don't know, but he wants to go to Mars, but he's very, very smart. By the way, you know what they found on Mars already? Pyramids, faces. No, people lived on Mars at one
So
time.
do you think the pyramids are energy from planet to planet, maybe connecting?
Well,
do you think that that's maybe how they communicated with
You know what?
pyramids?
It's interesting you're saying that. I thought of that a little because we have pyramids here and they have some pyramids on Mars.
Yeah.
Maybe it was not just global, but interplanetary.
Well, like we
I
have
don't know.
cell
The
phones.
question is, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, like
But I do
Andrew.
know there was a whole civilization there before. And if you were probably going on the internet talking about Mars, the face found on Mars or the pyramids on Mars. And a lot of people I taught, they're pretty well sophisticated, saying, no, all indications are, there was something there. And on the other side of the moon, there were some things we found there also they're trying to let out right now. So, yeah, they've been here
I'm so
before.
hoping they someday soon, they can give us because it's always
us the
just these
truth.
little can be explained or ignored.
I think you're going to see it more this year. I know it was one of the things, and by the way, I love Bobby Kennedy. He's a beautiful, wonderful, honest human being. But he had said it before that if he became president, that he would expose it all, right? Because UFOs are real, and he knows it, right?
Yeah.
But I think also Carter said the same thing,
Yeah.
and Clinton said the same thing. But I think when they finally got to finding out, they said, well, it's only on a need-to-know basis, and you're not a need-to-know.
They think what, it'll
but
freak
I'm the
us out?
president of the United States, not on the need-to-know.
But will it freak the American public out, or what are they worried about?
And I think it won't freak them out because more
why
and
are they
more,
worried?
look at Arizona. That giant spacecraft, probably a mile long, flew over, and everyone saw it. And the governor said, well, we know it was flares, whatever. But then after he was out of office, he says, yeah, it was definitely UFO.
What just happened was it Florida? There was aliens in a mall?
Yeah, the aliens. Aliens in a mall, that was crazy.
Oh, that's crazy.
Is it because there's an election season coming
I
up?
don't know.
They're like,
They're trying to
drop the
distract.
aliens.
They're going to distract us. They need to distract us with real
So
information.
We see it so much, and so many people are coming forth talking about it, that my feeling is this, and you could check me out in 1 year, that in this year of 2024, it'll be way more exposed to
Get
everybody.
your hand out, Andrew.
I'm hoping.
That green slime's coming your way.
I mean, I don't know where to go. I could find one that wants to meet a great person like you.
Are they this big, you think, or are they like, I wonder what they look
So
like.
there's good out there. Don't be afraid. There's good.
I
think
believe-
more here to do
Hello,
good
Andrew,
for us, to help
would you
us.
like to
We
have?
just, as long as they're not like humans, because we just dominate everything. So as long as they have
What
a
do you mean
much more docile demeanor, we're good.
Well, wait.
'cause-
To the best of my knowledge, I think some of them look just like us, and many look different than we do, okay?
That's
Many
awesome.
look
So
different.
if you start shedding your skin, we should
but
probably
a
get you
lot
out
of
of
them,
here.
from what I
I'd let you
understand,
know if I was.
no, I think a lot of them probably look exactly like
Okay,
us.
so what about this monster theory then? Because they keep saying that they're finding monsters on the planet, like monster fossils, like these mountains look like the shapes of monsters or women, or I mean,
Oh,
is
like
that
troll style?
like troll style?
Yeah, I
like,
don't know. I can't contract
okay,
on
so
it,
here's
but
another
yeah.
thing. Since you're onto the alien thing, real quick, I know. What about was it Arctic and Arctic? You know, where all the celebrities are going down there to
Oh, the Antarctica?
Antarctica. What is there?
Yeah,
come on.
I can only tell you the history I know, okay?
Okay.
In
Just a little-
Antarctica, I can only give you the history I know, okay? In Antarctica, there's a no-fly zone that nobody is supposed to fly over, okay? It's a no-fly zone. And from what information has come back after World War II, Admiral Byrd took our fleet down there because we thought there was a Nazi stronghold still down this after World War II. And they don't talk much about this. You may want to go online and put Admiral Byrd, okay? What did he see down
No,
there?
I heard a little bit about
But what's
this.
come back to me was that they were down there looking for this Nazi stronghold, and all of a sudden they were opposed. Whatever they were opposed by, it destroyed 2 of our major battleships. And the
Wow.
Admiral got a hold and said, we are leaving whatever's down here. We cannot counter it, okay? They're far more advanced than we are now, and they left. Okay, so obviously it wasn't anything of human form that was down there, or human. I shouldn't say human form. Let me say
Wow.
technology. The Nazis,
advanced.
or we had way too advanced, and they said that. And from what I understand, in the meantime, they don't want people to go there. Supposedly some hole there where there's some, I don't know, an underground city or something is down there. They won't let people there, and that's all that I know. But all indications are, if we were very, very advanced and we could live underground, which we can, by the way, okay? If you take technology and the energy from the earth and know how to harvest it, and I'm sure one day we'll learn whatever that's all about, who knows what you could create? Maybe your own sunshine under there. I don't know. But I do know there's definitely something down there. They don't want to talk about it. Whatever it was, been there for a long time.
Oh, the Wile E. Coyote that would dig through the center of the earth when we were kids, that cartoon?
Yeah.
It was real.
Maybe it was. I remember Wile E. Coyote.
Remember he would
I
go
remember
in the
that.
middle of the
Sure,
earth
I
and
remember that. Yeah.
pop out the other side.
Yeah, and beep beep. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
beep,
Roadrunner.
beep.
Yeah, that was cool. Maybe, guys, maybe. Or
That's,
they would say if you would dig down, you get to China.
Yeah, you get to
I
China.
don't know.
Remember what
I
was
don't
that?
know. I don't know that
Coyote.
one. That one I don't know. Only what I've heard of whatever facts have been sent my way.
Daily Logic Check.
So I heard you're helping complete communities in different countries and different areas of the world. Give me some examples of that.
You bet. I found that in my life that if you ever do I'll give you an example of a project that I'm doing with these wonderful guys from the Discovery Land Company. It's in Barbuda. I purchased the land and paid the money for a big strip of land, okay? Barbuda was an island. There's Antigua Barbuda, it's a country, Antigua Barbuda. It's an island where the majority of the people were totally unemployed. So I saw this beautiful beach and I thought, I could help develop it. One, the sand dunes are gone, or a lot of them, because they were sand mining to make money. It was like 90-some-odd% unemployment, I think, on that island, right? So they were subsidized by Antigua, the main island, to be able to exist. And I thought, well, the first thing I'd have to do is probably bring some sand dunes back. So I bought all this property, and I got Discovery to be my project with me, along with my partner, right? End result was, right after I did that, The hurricane came through, the big hurricane that devastated the entire island, wiped it out.
Wow.
And here we go. Thank God we didn't start building, right? So what do we do to help the people? First thing I did, and this is where the environmental people really come in, okay? Paul Watson, you know, who started the Sea Shepherd and the Paul Watson Foundation today, right? And I paid for it. I paid to have one of the ships that I bought for them sent down there and paid for the fuel to take people from Barbuda to Antigua. Just bring them right across, okay? And just bring these guys across so they're safe. At the same time, take care of other islands. And the next thing we had to do was to make sure that people had something. So here's the thing. The development is $1 billion development. It's a big development, right? With big houses, big everything. However, how do we take care of the people? They needed to rebuild the dunes because they took away so many dunes, the force of the water came on in and there was nothing to stop it. So the surge came in further. So one, we brought the sand dunes back. Two, some of the mangroves were wiped out. We're now bringing the mangroves back. But more important, I looked at the turtle population was shrinking on what was happening there for the birth of the babies.
Reefs, right?
And the coral reef. The coral reef was almost totally gone. So I said, okay, we want to do all. So immediately, the first thing was, let's bring some sand dunes back.
Right.
Let's take areas that are terrible areas, take the sand out, make sand dunes with it, and make them to beautiful park areas as part of a golf course for the people, right? Next thing was, let's make it a better turtle habitat. So I got with Dr. Deborah Brosnan, #1 ecologist.
Oh, she's great.
She helped me put it together. The turtles started coming back, big turtles, which is beautiful. The next thing's, what do we do about these reefs around the world? They're disappearing. So Deborah Brosnan and I financed it myself, all right? All of a sudden, brought the reefs back. We hired local people to work with us so they could learn how to do it. We learned over a couple of years how to build these modules, put them in the water.
Didn't you grow the reef?
We did, and we grew the coral. We grew the coral ourselves. We found coral that could make it, that's devastated, that could make it. We grew that coral. We had these reefs made for us that were modules, like maybe 10 feet by 10 feet. Yeah. They look like reefs, put them in the water, a whole bunch of them lined up. And then with divers, we went there and put the coral we grew on them, right? All of a sudden it grew. And it grew so good that the fish came around. And sea urchins came around.
Back.
All of a sudden, it was amazing. And now we are guest speakers for the United Nations on how to bring reefs back. You know, we're now guest. We're going to be, in fact, doing a big program for them in, I believe it's in June down there in Barbuda and Antigua, Barbuda. We're doing something really nice for them down there. So what happened was this, okay? So we brought the sand dunes back, right? We brought the turtles, more turtles back. We're bringing it back. Now, how about all the people? Every person that could qualify for a job works for us.
Everybody has an income.
If you want a job, if you could qualify for a job. In fact, we have so many jobs, we have to bring them from Antigua over and maybe other islands, okay? Or other places, because we have more jobs. Now, how does that affect everybody? We pay them a good amount. They make more money. They're self-sufficient. Now, it's not only that. We're dealing with several companies there that we started. One is a guy named Abashir, right? Long dreadlocks and all, wonderful guy. He has 13 people working for him right now on our property. We're his only customer. Of course, others are also. So we're teaching locals how to have their own business to be part of our project. By the time the project is done, we're going to need 1,000 people working for us.
Andrew, we know where we're going.
While we're building, we're approximately maybe 800-900, but so what we're doing at the same time is building some nice residences for our workers that come in or that work there. They're just really nice. And we help the local town out a little bit, okay? First thing I did after the hurricane was I spent $1 million out of my own pocket on behalf of my family and me. We spent $1 million and we could not, this is non-deductible. We built them a communication tower, a 200-foot communication tower.
Oh, that's right.
And we gave it to the people. So what we believe is success unshared is failure. Now, is this an investment, a giveaway to somebody? No, it's an investment in the future of our planet. Yeah. We all should do a little something to make the planet a little bit off because we're here and the people are happy. So I go there, they're smiling. JP, how you doing? Well, how are you doing, Abashir? How you doing, Thomas? You know, they're happier. The people are happier. Now, we had a few people that were very unhappy, but the majority of the people, to get the project done, the council voted, yes, let's do it. Those few people that are angry, well, we want to leave it the way it was, the majority want what we have, love what we have, and they can say anything they want.
You'll never make everybody happy.
Oh, no, we made the country better. We made the island that we're on better. We made the ocean better. And we made the land better because we were there. So I believe that people like to be around people that do things. So what's the end result of this? People that are buying expensive properties in this beautiful place that we have there, you know, it's unbelievably beautiful. It's peace, love, and happiness. they're able to bring their families there and watch the turtles get hatched and walk into the water. They're there to see the community working on with our
live
project.
SeaWorld.
In other words, they see it, but they see it. So they bring their children and grandchildren and say, hey, where we built this very expensive house that we're gonna have forever is an example of what you can do with the community, even private communities for wealthier people, how they wanna give back and bring our children in and teach them the same thing. So it's good for the whole world by doing. And the Taymouth Castle was the other one.
I was gonna say, and now you started the project in Scotland.
Oh my God, Taymouth Castle, when I saw it, I fell in love with it, but it was in the middle of being repaired. It's a castle that was started back in, I think, 1480, redone in the 1500s, redone in the 1600s, a little bit done in the 1800s. Queen Victoria was there for her honeymoon with Prince
Andrew
Albert.
was there. Andrew
Andrew
stopped
was
by.
there. You saw it. You saw it.
We
You saw it. You
stopped
saw it
by.
there,
I got to
right?
see it before it was
But I
worked on.
thought it was one of the most beautiful things I ever saw. I want to rebuild this thing. And I spent the money. It's a lot of money rebuilding the whole thing. And we'll make another community.
But you also helped the community, I heard.
Exactly.
What'd you do there?
We rebuilt it and made it so now they have a castle that, and it's finished right now, is now done, not falling apart. And we hire whoever we can locally, and at the same time, we bring in local people to help in every way we can, and add a community and make it better for everybody. And we love that.
Yeah.
So
I heard the
maybe
community loves you there because you're like,
God.
jobs, you get a job.
Oh, no, but we
you get
do.
a job.
If people, I mean, if they now, jobs they can't qualify for, we have to bring someone else in.
Yeah.
But hopefully that we brought them in from other parts of Scotland to help the community out.
Yeah.
At the same time, what does that branch out to? Some people that were rebuilding some old ships there in Scotland and the museum found out what we're doing, and they got a hold of me and said, JP, would you mind? We're not at your community. We're like, a few hundred miles away, but it's for Scotland. We're rebuilding these old ships that we want to build a museum around. I said, of course. So I sent them a donation.
That
of
is
course,
so
because we
awesome.
believe in being part of a nation, a country. We're all one people.
Yeah.
It's not like you're yellow, purple. People ask, for example, this is interesting, at Paul Mitchell, how come you don't have one line for Asians, one line for people of color, and of course another line? We said it's because we don't sell Paul Mitchell luxury products to different colors of people.
It's just one product.
We sell it for different textures of hair.
Yeah.
Well, your packaging says it all, black and white.
You'll find lily white people that have really
Like,
kinky hair,
very
really
simple.
curly hair.
Yeah.
It's for different textures of hair.
Yeah.
We don't have to, and that's what the world should think. We're different textures of people, different colors. Let's all love each other and get along instead of burning things down. Let's love one another as the example of getting along.
Yes.
Let's love one another as the example.
Yes.
So is that all your projects, your real estate projects are those two? Or didn't you have one more? I
Oh no,
thought
we
you
have
had
quite.
another
We have one in Costa Rica.
In Costa Rica.
And that's a beautiful one there too. Where we're bringing it, we're into the land. Everything we do is what can we do for the land?
I feel like singing "We Are the World."
Something like
We
that,
are
yeah.
the JP.
And in Austin, Texas, we have another one. In Austin, we have like we have the Driftwood Project down there with Discovery. In Costa Rica, we have Zapatol.
Wait.
And in Barbuda, we have the Ocean Club. And in Taymouth Castle.
Wait, what about the veterans in Texas?
I love that. I love my project
talk
there.
About that project.
It's
I love that
Patriot
project.
Hall. People don't pay enough attention to veterans, even those, there's one still left from World War.
You're a veteran.
Yeah, I sure am. From World War II that was still connected with, there's still one there, mainly from the Korean War and of course the Vietnam War and others. People forget about them. If you're injured as a veteran and you don't have a place to go, you're at home all day long watching TV or no place. So we needed some. So these wonderful people brought it to me and said, JP, we want to build a center called Patriot Hall. We need some money to build the main building and others. I said, this is the most wonderful thing. What will it do for the Patriots? So one, it'll give them a place to go and hang out with one another. They'll have an obstacle course, some things for the children, some things for them. We'll have everything that they need. We'll have another building there that's just for all the benefits they get they don't even know about. In other words, let's help them be happy, a place to go to, and tell them all the things they get that people forget that they have or don't even know they have. So it makes those people happy. And when you see them just go there and they just light
self-sustainable
up.
too, right? Like you have
It is
what
very
is that
sustainable.
where they grow their own, you showed me this device where they're growing their own food.
Yeah, we grow our own food
Metal
there. We have
shop.
programs going.
Just keep everybody busy and help their mental well-being.
Oh yeah, like
Art
in
shop.
my wellness, a place there that I really support, Mobile Loaves and Fish, is the
Yeah.
community, right? We have metal shop, wood shop. We have every kind of a job you could imagine. And we have tiny
So
homes.
cool.
And we found an answer to homelessness, okay? We have tiny homes there all around in a circle. And we already have over almost 400 of them already built with people living in them. We have a theater. We have all these shops. So they could learn a way to produce money.
Their
and many
skill.
of them just want to do it. And many of them are disabled, right? So part of the things I built there for them was an entrepreneur center. JP, why'd you build an entrepreneur center? They're homeless people. They don't want to work. Yes, you're teaching. So we have like, ceramics. We have a lot of people jump in for our artwork there. Unbelievable artwork. They paint, they sculpt, they do incredible, really cool things, make jewelry. They do really cool things there. They say, JP, why? The first year and a half that the Entrepreneur Center was open, and we teach everybody how to do stuff right. Whatever money they sell, they get to keep, right? The first year and a half, they sold almost $200,000 worth of goods.
Wow, that is so
People need an
cool.
opportunity, a chance in life. So we give them very little rent. They have to pay a little bit of rent or you don't feel it's yours. People you give stuff free
ownership.
to abuse it.
They
It's
don't
free.
treat-
You
they
owe
don't
me.
treat it
Give me
well.
something free. Give me something free, right? No, America's not a land of, we're not communism.
We're not a land of
that let
handouts.
the government control you and give you, no, we're not communism. And America hopefully will never be communistic, okay? Even though some people are leaning that way.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Russia proved it didn't work, okay? I mean, they
That
proved
would
it didn't
never
work.
work. It's
been proved many,
It didn't
many
work. No, it
times.
doesn't work, okay? But it gives people an opportunity in life, so we give them opportunity. So you charge them, so most of them have some kind of money. But let's say people don't have enough money to pay their $150 or $60 a month rent. It's okay. We have wood shop, we have metal shop, we have art shop, we
Andrew,
have
it's
everything.
so cool.
Enough to,
That's
and so
awesome.
nobody's kicked out because you can't pay your rent there.
And this is in Austin?
Yeah, it's Austin, Texas.
And you should see their
Mobile
their-
Loaves and Fishes, the community.
What's it called?
Mobile Loaves and Fishes, the community.
Oh, wow.
And their smiles. Like we walked through there, he gave me a tour.
happy.
And you should see these veterans are just sitting there, just so ecstatic about this little clay sculpture because this guy he's a right brain thinker, but he's a left brain thinker too, and he just didn't know how to release that creativity. And I talked to this one guy. I was like, "How do you like this?" He goes, "I love it. Just building a little clay house." He's the happiest, jolliest veteran, just sitting there like,
Yeah.
look.
And making money.
And he's making money. He's like,
and
I
he's the
sell these
veteran,
at
by
the
the way,
at the
that one. He's the
store.
veteran
And
that
I'm
was
like,
there. A lot of veterans.
It's just so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. In
Yeah.
other words, it shows people that the
Yeah.
answer isn't take over hotels, take over your residence, take over
Yeah.
your school, get everybody out, whatever, put them in there. No, that's creating a ghetto. These are little homes. And now we have a new technology where you could actually build them 3 layers high. You can have like a little apartment complex in there,
Really?
Yeah.
without making it a ghetto. You
Oh,
have a little
yeah,
one, a
yeah.
whole bunch of little ones, right? So you own like 5 or 6 or 3 or 4 together. We just as a community.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
don't get
Well,
rid
but
of
you're
people.
also really creative there. So I noticed that it's not, you don't walk up to your community and it's a square box with like
No,
dirt
they're
roads.
special
You
and
literally
unique.
create little cool paths like Alice in Wonderland. Like you
Yeah,
kind of,
it is. It's
There's like
cool.
the mailboxes are really creative. The signs are creative. It's really just a cool environment versus that stale, homeless
Yeah.
environment that you see here in California.
People want to feel like they're contributing. Not people that
Yeah.
everybody wants to contribute.
Everybody wants to. Exactly.
And people that don't contribute, those are the people that seem to be the least happy.
And there's a lot of mental problems out there. Let's call it mental challenges.
Yeah.
But a lot of them, not all of them, okay, but some of them were caused because they were broke, they got kicked out of their house, no one would see them or help them, or they had an alcohol problem, right? They just need someone to help them get on their feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have something there also where we help people like that also. In fact, my wife, Eloise, is very involved with the Arbor to bring these people back to reality and get
Yep.
them off of that. And she even has a home there that if ladies are abused or children, whatever, a place to go to be safe, and then a place
Yep.
to go to have their children. Then another group helps families there that we support, helps the whole family, gives them a whole
Transitioning.
family a place to live, and helps the husband get a job and new places to go to people you affiliate with. So we're really cooking there in Austin. We've got some good things going on.
California could really learn from Austin because
Yes,
I
they
know
can.
what we have right now is just a really, really, to combat homelessness in California is like taking on a whole country, right? But it's an opioid crisis.
In my opinion, it's not a homeless problem; it's a drug problem.
Right.
It
I
is a
mean,
big problem.
it's masked as a homeless problem because nobody wants people to be homeless, but it's not. Everybody that I've been in I've actually walked through them in Seattle, and there's people.
Our sister's homeless.
Yeah, our sister lived in these ghettos.
It's unfortunate.
And it's not nobody's there because they couldn't get a job or they lost an apartment. They did there because they'd rather do drugs
They're a drug
than be
addict.
anywhere
You're right.
else because they can be
You're so right.
they can survive in Seattle with nothing because everything is kind of given to
It's
them.
given to them.
But
You know
it's
what?
not dignified.
No, you are 100% correct. And then I see this other thing. I think California has it, okay, where you could steal up to $900 you
Yep.
could steal.
Yep.
And even if you got busted, you get it's like a misdemeanor. But they don't bust anybody. And I've heard stories of them walking out with tons of clothes from stores. In fact, San Francisco had an area called Union Square, one of the most beautiful hotels and shopping areas. It's closed up now.
Well, you know what they're doing
Oh
in
my
my
God, because people
conspiracy-
are going and stealing everything. It's unfortunate.
My
It's
conspiracy
unfortunate.
theory idea of all this is they're trying to drive the real estate value down so some bigwigs can come in and just buy everything for
Don't
cheap
know. Yeah, don't
and
know.
restart everything all over again. Once all the opioid addicts die, because they really tried to combat opioid problems by, arresting some of the CEOs in these opioid companies, right? So they put them all away. Now they're like, okay, well, we don't hand them out like candy anymore, but there's a whole generation like our sister who's homeless on a street still.
right.
And they're getting to be 45, 50 years old. Well, I don't know how they're still all alive, but they're all alive. Like, you don't
Resilience
die,
of
obviously, of
humans.
opioids. You just
no, and the answer
like-
is do not, because you create more people that are on the verge of homelessness or homelessness to become criminals
Yeah,
by
you
laws.
encourage
And
it. They're
no
encouraging
disrespect, but the politics may not have been the best in California.
I
put it
get-
that way,
I
okay?
get
Andrew
what
gave me a-
what they.
No disrespect,
no,
okay, but they
Andrew
got to
gave a
change
good
it.
idea. Like, they won't. People will feel sorry if you call it home. What'd you say?
Yeah, well, if you say that there's a homeless problem, nobody wants somebody else to be homeless.
Right.
So they're going to I'll sign that bill or I'll vote for that because I don't want people homeless. But in reality, they're not actually tackling the real problem.
That's right.
Which is the drug addiction.
Exactly.
And it's
Huge
And
problem.
it's
Nobody wants to
really,
deal
really
with
bad
drug
because
addicts.
there was not one sober person for a mile when I walked through the ghettos, and it's obvious and it's sad, and I wish we could help them, but in my experience, the only time you can sober up a person is if they want to be. And how do you get them sober? I don't know.
Daily Logic Check.
There's something, too, that I've asked politicians, and they're dead in the water on this one here, because I can't figure this one out. We have millions of what we call illegal immigrants coming across the border, right? My mother was an immigrant, but she came through Ellis Island the right way, right? Many, many years ago. So I'm first-generation American. But millions of illegal immigrants have come across the border. And even though our government today touts, oh no, that vaccine is real and
None of them
everyone's
have
got
to
to
be
take it.
vaccinated, right?
None of them.
Right.
I mean, by God, with all due respect, if you're saying to us, if
they're all
all you
voters,
guys are
though,
saying
right?
that, oh no, you got to take it, you'll never catch it, everyone's got to take the vaccines, they even force people to take it in the military or the work for governments, but you let millions come across, never once they say you got to all have vaccines. So you have millions of people walking around, some of them probably have God knows what disease, and this is stupid. I mean, it is, what is wrong with you, government? What is the matter with you? I believe in immigrants. I'm a child of an immigrant.
Yeah.
But to have them
I
come
believe in
across when
immigrants
you're telling
also.
everybody you got to get a shot, well, does it mean they don't really work? And that's why you're not vaccinating all these 2 million
You know,
people?
why
I don't
aren't
know.
they
I don't know.
vaccinating the millions
They're
of
not
the people
millions.
coming in?
Well, and then
They're
they're saying there may
requiring
be
it
an
for people.
epidemic. You're
But the-
causing the epidemic. Guys, you're
Yes,
letting them all across
but
with
their-
no shots.
But
If the
their
shots
excuse
even
is
work.
they didn't want them to
I don't know.
stop coming over just to not get the shot. So they're just wanted to help because they're all claiming asylum. And that's how they can get them in the country is they're claiming asylum. If you don't claim
Okay.
asylum, they turn you around and send you right back.
What do you mean by asylum?
Asylum
Freedom?
means that if where you're from
Okay.
is
Gonna kill you.
is
Gonna
is
kill
going to
you.
kill you, or it's very bad and you're trying to get away.
Okay.
So that's how they get into
claiming asylum.
Claim asylum,
Okay.
and because of that, there's rules that they can't force them to do what we would think as Americans should be a good idea, which is vaccinate them. If we all have to be vaccinated, probably should be. But
But
that's
how are they all getting health care and our veterans can't get health care?
It's.
I want to know. Explain, because
but it's not as simple. It's
So can a veteran go overseas then and release his citizenship and come back and get health care as an
if you
asylum
could,
seeker?
If you could hide your birth country, probably.
Oh. No,
Yeah.
I'm just, I deal with a lot of veterans that don't have health care. And I try and I take, I work with a lot of veterans with the Elks Club and things
Yeah.
like that. And a lot of them are like, I can't get health care. And I'm sad. So that I turn on the news and I'm like, wait a minute.
California's 63 billion deficit this year.
But California 4 years ago used to be a positive one where there was like $100 billion in the good.
Yeah,
Now
not
they
anymore.
went to the red.
Yeah,
You know
they're
what I think
63.
is happening here? I think a lot of good people probably thought it was a good idea. And then when they realized it wasn't a good idea, they didn't want to be wrong, so they stuck by it.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure in Washington, D.C., the administration knows, we screwed up on that one, right? Let's change it fast.
But then they lose their job, and then everybody, all they're
exactly.
really doing is looking out for themselves
Yeah.
and looking out for that paycheck, and they don't care as long as they continue to get reelected and continue to get.
Well, couldn't we just
they
put
wanna
all these
retire.
asylum seekers in one of their houses and see how they like it?
Of course
then?
not. That wouldn't work.
No,
Look
no.
at-
We want to love one another and just find
Yes.
better ways. But the thing is this, if you look at the world, everyone wants to come to the United States. If you
Right.
drop that border down,
Well, no, we're
I'd
supposed
say
to be land of the
half-
free, home of the
it is,
brave.
and we are. I'm
We're
an immigrant's
immigrant. We were
child, and
born
we
as
are.
immigrants.
But you got to
Immigrants-
do it the right way.
So here's my question to you. I really, see, I kind of have an odd way to think about this because I feel like we're not having enough babies, enough children. So if we had immigrants coming in, because they're hard workers, like the Spanish community, they're the hardest workers I know. Like, so what if we did it the right way? They could come in, they
But
worked.
there is.
And we
used
just
to be
let
that-
them all in, but we did it the right way. I think that we need that population.
It used to be that way.
I feel like we need them.
But
I
it
feel
used
like
to be
we
that way.
need
The
those
problem
people
is
to help us
the way the law-
sustain this whole life.
But the way the laws are to get somebody legally into the country takes years. Takes absolutely
So we're
years.
just going to, so is it bad to open the floodgates and let them in?
No.
I think
so
it's
what
a
they
good
should
thing,
do,
but
though,
we should
is
do it the right way.
streamline the right way. Because right now they can only get like 1 million people a year in the right way. But obviously the country needs more than a
We need
million people
more
a year
people.
to come in.
Right.
But we need them to be. We need to know they're you know that they have the United States best in their interest.
So instead of spending money on the drug addicts, why don't we spend money on the people that
But
let
they're
people
not
in the
spending money
country?
on the drug addicts. They're spending money on themselves. Them pretending they're helping.
Yeah, you're right. But that opens it up. I
Well,
think
that's a whole
like
nother
all of a sudden out of nowhere, and I think the border has a lot to do with this, all the fentanyl's coming across.
Yes.
Do you know that? And I just found this out yesterday. Over 100,000 people in the United States die every year from fentanyl.
You know, it's the number one cause of death for men between 18 and 25.
It's fentanyl.
It's fentanyl. I mean,
We have 2 families that lost a child to fentanyl. 2 families that we know, that we love very, they're good kids.
I know a lot. Actually, I know quite a bit of artists who are dying. I mean, Tom Petty, fentanyl. I mean, come on.
It's
Like,
sad.
Tom
wasn't
Petty?
that Prince? Didn't he? Is that
Prince died.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got to know
Avicii.
it's okay, politicians, to be wrong and do something, but be smart enough and say, hey, we were wrong. We're smart enough to say we were wrong. Let's change it. There's a better way. We thought it
problem
would
with that
work.
is when they say they're wrong, they don't get reelected and they don't get that paycheck.
that's it.
And all they're really, in my opinion, everybody's just worried about themselves. They're worried about their paycheck. When like you got somebody who's making $60,000 a year and then gets elected and is now making $350,000 a year, they don't want to lose that job. It's the best job they're ever going to have. So they're going to say whatever it takes to continue to have that job.
But I think even in that group, there's some people that really see the light. Even in that
and there
group.
is. There's
People
always-
people love people, but there are a lot. You're right. You are right. You're right.
So I
You're
say we
100%
just vote for the aliens, call it a day.
There you go.
Move to
And let
Mars
that
on a
big technology
spaceship
in.
and call Elon Musk our president.
We want to help. We want to help the country, and we want to help the world out. And America is a shining light.
Yeah.
And let's not let anyone ever destroy that in any way, shape, or form. Let's help
It
our
is.
immigrants
This place
but
is
the right
beautiful.
way.
I don't care what the news says.
Yeah.
I don't care what
I love America.
TikTok says.
That's right.
I go outside and people get along. Republicans, Democrats
Yeah.
are good friends.
That's
they can
right.
talk. You don't think they could talk online, but that is not true. Those are just the crazy people.
That's
Yeah.
so true.
In general,
There is mentally ill people trying to make a
I have lots of
point.
Republican friends. I have lots of Democrat friends. I have lots of independents, and all of us can sit around and have a conversation,
Yeah.
and it's
That's
perfectly
how it used
fine.
to be, where you didn't ask somebody their red
Political
or blue.
beliefs, yeah,
No, exactly
But
When
not.
did that happen?
still,
We the people. We need a third party.
Yeah,
or
we
fourth
need
party in
another
there.
party.
Yes,
I
no, we
don't know.
definitely do
But that's
do
called
that.
the independent. Now I'm confused because I've always been independent, and I've said I was independent because I don't believe in all Republican. I don't believe in all Democrat. So they call me an independent. But what does that mean?
And it was so. What they tried to do, I think it was
not
Ross
political,
Perot is the
so-
one that tried to make an independent
sure.
third in the middle, but neither Republicans or Democrats like that because it takes votes away from them.
So
they're
their
never
paycheck.
going to be a
And their
third party.
power. It takes away their power.
Okay.
There's never going to be, they'd have to dilute the power, so there's never going to be a third party because it's too late. Our country is designed on two-side system. It's never going to change.
Yeah, but
Well,
here
I think that when they see what's going on with the different parties, just a personal feeling, right? You could be right that people say maybe we do need a third party, another view of those that have been controlling us for all these years. Maybe
But
we
they're
need
trying to do
something
one world power right now. It's like they're trying to just go,
that's
okay,
not good.
everything is wrong. We need just
No,
one person to run every
That's
country.
not good. That's not
And
good.
I'm
That's
like,
not
wait a minute,
good.
isn't that? Is that
you're
communism?
about the deep state. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
not
the
good.
deep state.
That's not good. Yeah, we will tell you what to do, when to do it, like they tried to do during the COVID thing. We'll tell you what to do, when
that
to
was
do it.
horrific. I thought, oh my gosh, if they get a hold
Yeah.
of this,
That
they
was
start controlling our lives like
Centralized
this.
digital currency.
This is going to be.
Oh yeah.
Bad
They
news.
got you.
Bad,
Well, what I didn't
bad,
like
bad.
was in Canada, those truck drivers, common good people,
Oh my
had
gosh, I
a
couldn't
blockade.
believe it.
Right, this is wrong. And what does the Canadian government do? Which blew me away. They froze all their bank accounts, and I think some of them froze their jobs where they had no money, no nothing.
No, they didn't just do that. The people who donated $50 to the GoFundMe of the truckers, the Canadian government seized their accounts too. People who just gave $50 because they're like,
That's communism.
Yeah.
So the deep state got to Trudeau or whoever runs Canada now, unfortunately.
Wow.
How did Trudeau? Well, I don't even want to get in there. I can't.
I think that's his name. Maybe I'm wrong. Whoever the prime minister is.
This is not supposed to be what I
whoever did it, you know. And I said, whoa,
This is a logical
it's we the
podcast.
people. It's we the people.
I know,
We're not into politics, you know, but we're just someone
it's not me, the people.
We wanna
it's
bring-
we the people. Yes, it's not me out there. It's not me.
The
It's
M
we.
is upside down. It's we,
The
not
world
me.
needs to watch
Come
out for each
together,
other.
love each other.
Yeah.
Democrats,
Did you
Republicans,
guys
love
watch
each
and
other.
listen to the Beatles?
The way that I like, we're all one tribe.
There you go.
And if
Human
we start,
tribe.
Yes, the human tribe. We're not the Americans. We're not the Chinese. We're
You're
not.
right.
We're
We're
all
aliens
one
now.
tribe. Not until the aliens, then we will feel like one
Can't
tribe.
wait. I'm so excited. I want a
exactly.
ghost. I want an
If-
alien.
If the aliens come after us and don't like us, then we'll all of a sudden be all one tribe again.
But they may come out and tell you, you know, guys, we've been hiding out for many years to see how you would do this, like Star Wars, right? Where
Yeah.
you can't touch anyone's society and let them go on their own. That you guys have been killing each other. You've been murderers to one another. You're one race, a human race, and for the dumbest reasons, whether it's a religious
fight
reason
amongst yourselves.
or a color, you're not only fighting, you're killing each other. Boy, are you antiquated. Well, now you're at a point where you got to know that, guys, this sucks. You're not doing it right. Love one another.
Yeah.
Let us help you do that. Love one another. Don't be.
But everybody, the problem
think
is
cats
generally
are
everybody
aliens,
is
just
looking
letting
out for
everybody know.
themselves.
Exactly.
Which is, it's
Or
good and
their
it's
tribe,
bad.
their own little group. But we're one tribe. You're right. We're one tribe. They're breaking up to lots of tribes, which means, I guess, it's easier to control. If you have a bunch of people fighting each other,
Yep.
it's
yeah.
either control. Well, we're the
And you just
heroes.
take 'em all
Success
We're to
in
get you
fighting,
together.
and then
Oh,
you're
yeah.
like, let me
Because
solve your
imagine
problems.
if the entire world was looking out for one another and we're all in one tribe, imagine
We are
nobody
the
would have control of us.
world.
Nobody
That's
could.
right.
We are
There
the
wouldn't be a group of people who could
We
who
are
could
the ones who make
manipulate
a
us, get
brighter
their
day.
drugs
So let's
approved so
start
they could,
giving.
make billions.
And have your own religion, your own government, and don't interfere with someone else's. Let your own country do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's,
We all get along. We don't need one central government. Let's all get along with
yes,
everybody.
yes. There's lots, because there's lots of different kinds of people, so there could be lots of things. But everybody needs to stop, fighting for everything.
Can somebody get the
Common
chorus
sense.
out here on set?
And splitting people up.
We are the ones.
Yeah, exactly. We
Chorus,
are the people.
children.
We are the ones.
We are the ones. Well, JP, it's been a brighter day because you keep on giving.
So I look forward to a lot of wonderful things happening
Yeah.
in 2024. A lot of the bad guys being exposed.
Yep.
Maybe the deep state disappearing,
Absolutely.
whatever, and just have freedom and happiness between one another. And
Yeah.
forget the war machine.
Daily Logic Check.
JP, every show we're donating $1,000 to a charity of your choice or to our guest's choice. And you've been in Texas for a long time,
Yep.
but do you have a California charity that you'd like us to donate to?
Actually, I do. It was almost 44 years ago that I was homeless in LA. And I like here in LA, and I support them. It's called Chrysalis. They take the homeless off the
What is it?
street. Chrysalis.
Chrysalis.
With a C. There's one in
Okay.
Santa Monica, one in downtown LA.
Okay.
They take the homeless off the street, find them a place to live, clothes to wear, and then show them how to get a job and work with them until they get a job. It's one of the best charities I could ever give to. So that'd be nice if you would do that for Chrysalis.
Thank
It's
you.
a very good one.
Andrew and I were like, well, what can we do when they're coming on and they're really promoting positivity? And we're like, well, let's donate to a charity of their choice.
That's so kind. Thank you.
You're welcome. We also have a gift for everyone that comes on. Obviously, Vargas Vodka is a company you and I have together.
of
but
course, yes.
it's not just swag. Here you go. Can you reach it?
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, open it up.
Oh, that's
Show the
we got
logo
stuff
on
here.
camera.
Oh, so I've got a T-shirt.
Yeah,
a
got the
Vargas,
T-shirt.
Vargas vodka.
Drink
There you
vodka,
go.
ride a
So I got my
cowboy.
T-shirt. I like it here.
Yeah.
Drink vodka, ride a cowboy. That's pretty cool. That's pretty good. Okay, we got
Okay.
that. What else do I have? Oh, this.
And then
wow,
that
what
is a
this?
crystal telescope
Oh,
because
that
you
is
see
so
into the
cool.
stars.
Wow.
And you
can
see
see-
into the future.
So you can see the aliens.
So you
That
can
is
see
so
the
nice.
aliens.
And
then,
a
of course, I
hat
got
in
you a
case it
Vargas
gets too
vodka
bright.
hat.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. Well, thank you. This
You're
is
welcome.
really
Isn't
cool.
that
Thank you, guys.
cool?
Yeah, thank you.
So
Wow.
I was like, what can I get JP? I mean, you,
This
a man
is
who
really
has
cool.
everything.
Oh, yeah.
a little
Okay,
crystal.
there you go.
I don't
Thank
think you
you.
can see through it, but
Thanks for the goodies.
it's the point.
It's beautiful.
Well, thank you for coming today. It has been
My
such a
pleasure. I
delight.
love you guys.
It's been great
You
talking to you.
It's my
Anywhere
pleasure.
from aliens to politics to you to investments to helping
Oh, I
communities.
love your show. I love what you do on
Thank
your
you.
show.
We love our audience. Andrew and I, we love to educate people with just a little bit of love, and I think you brought a lot of love to the set. Even the crew, everyone loves you. So, just spreading that love and your cheer and your smile, coming from what you came from, being where you are today, all the hard work you put in, you still have a smile on your face. And that's a true testament to success. So
Thank you.
thank you for being here today. And you're going to come back, right?
I will do it.
Okay,
if
will
you
you come
keep your
back?
show the way you have it right now, I will definitely come back. We can talk about
Absolutely.
other subjects even more so.
Wait, you got to come back when the aliens show up.
Oh, definitely.
That way we can say you're right.
I would love to be. I promise to be on your first alien show. I promise.
We'll have some alien shirts on.
Believe me, if I can find it
If an
before
alien can
you.
replace
You
me,
think
you
that-
guys could talk with the alien.
Well,
the
you're,
aliens
you're
be
down to
drinking
common
Bandero?
sense. I think you're great as a co-host because you're down to common sense, and that's wonderful, Andrew.
Well, we'll all be drinking Bandero and using
here.
our Paul Mitchell hair products. And thanks for coming. We can't wait
Peace,
to
love,
see
and
you again.
happiness.
Peace, love, and
You
happiness.
got it. It's a good thing, which still works. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Daily Logic Check.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Daily Logic Check. I'm your host, Elizabeth Vargas, with my co-host, Andrew Vargas. If you like what you saw, you like what you see, click below, like, follow, and support us on Patreon. Peace, love, and happiness.